Hello and welcome. My name is Dayhaleb, and today I wanted to talk about the two new Ogdoadic cards we got revealed recently. I know it's been a bit quiet over here, but I haven't had time to test a concrete list I really like, and so I don't want to just upload a list. So I thought in the meantime I'd talk about these cards, say what I think of them, how they felt during testing, and what I think they will be doing going forward in my list. We got two new cards. We got Ogdoadic Dawn of Creation, the spell card, and Neferabyss, the Ogdoadic overlord. And what I wanted to say about them is that they are cards of differing quality. I like one much more than the other, and I'm sure you can guess which. So let's first start with Ogdoadic Dawn of Creation. This is the quick play spell that lets us tribute a reptile to spec tokens for every 2 levels. That means a level 4 will give us 2 tokens and a level 8 will give us 4 tokens. What people have been quick to point out is this plus Naya equals a huge board. By pitching Naya for Curse, which was the combo before, and then having any monster, we can tribute that monster to summon Curse, bring out Naya, search Ogdoadic Dawn of Creation, tribute our Curse, and now we have a full board. We have 4 tokens and our Naya, which is the perfect number of materials to use 3 to summon Cosmic Slicer Zerol, and then search our Planet Pollutant Virus. And then with the remaining 2 materials, we can summon Alien Shock Trooper Slash Frame. So we have an alien to tribute to our Planet Pollutant Virus. So it's a really nice 2-card line that goes straight into the alien lock. But I feel like there's more potential here. I know that's a very strong thing to do, but the way I've played this deck has always been a lot of mixing and matching, and that feels very limited. So what I want to be doing right now personally is using this to really go hard to that link angle. It's already given us more access to our good links in our Cosmic Slicer combo, but I would really like to use this to either go into Apollosa or the greedier option to do some Saryuja Gameciel plays. I have some replays on this channel of an old list that utilized a Kyoto waterfront build that intended to get out that Saryuja and then force out the Gameciel on our field to have a lot of negation, and I think this is the key to doing something like that that's even more consistent, so I'm definitely working with testing on that. Another cool thing people have pointed out is that this can actually be used to dodge targeting on things like Imperm or Valor. Valor's less common, but Imperm's everywhere, so say we have our Curse on field, it is using its effect to target the Naya in the graveyard, and they hit it with an Imperm. We can actually use Dawn of Creation, tribute that Curse, take it off the field, and now its effect cannot be negated since it's going to resolve from the graveyard, which is really nice. So that is actually a pretty cool thing that it's a quick play and not a normal spell. Lastly, it's also got a second effect. You can target a banished reptile, shuffle it into the deck, and then you can Foolish Burial Reptile from your deck, all for banishing this card, of course. What this does is, a lot of times, your alert won't line up because you want to get those 2 materials back from your banished to your graveyard. If you can't do that, Dawn of Creation gives us another out. It also gives life and more purpose to a card being banished, like a Nunu, like a Naya off the Curse. It makes that into an even nicer extender. So in summary, my thoughts on this card are very positive. I really like what it does. I really like that it doesn't have any limitations. It can be used twice in that both its effects can be used in the same turn. So it's a really valuable, creative, and generous support card. This is the kind of support Ogdoadic really needs, because as you know, this is not a tier 1 deck. We need good support because we don't really have room to play bad support. Bad support just won't get played and will be kind of a waste, and I'd rather not have wasted Ogdoadic cards. It's a small archetype. I'd like to keep it small and consistently good. Which brings us on to the next card, which is Neferabyss, the Ogdoadic Overlord. And just a quick thing to mention, the Ogdoadic monsters actually have a pretty consistent theme, with the light monsters being the male representations of the Egyptian Ogdoad, and the dark monsters being female representations. And Neferabyss actually kind of breaks that tradition. Neferabyss itself is a dude, a gentleman from what I can tell based on the art at least. I could be wrong. And it also doesn't really matter since Ogdoadic is pretty hard to pin for gender, as it's just a big snake god. But I thought that was interesting, as there was a pretty clear-cut divide between the male light monsters and the female dark monsters. So now that I'm done talking about the history lore of the card, I would like to talk about this monster. So first, I think it has a very interesting summoning condition. If it is brought back by a monster being sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard, it locks you into reptiles until the end of the next turn. That's pretty wild. What this is kind of good for is Neferabyss being your last summon. So after you've summoned your monsters near the end of your combo chain, something gets sent to grave, you bring it back and then use its effect to res something. To me, it seems like it intends for you to res something like Zerol or Ogdoadic or Aaron or Amnesia, one of our original boss monsters, but it's pretty strange that it locks into reptiles. I don't love that. But that summoning conditions has some implications. It is not your monster sent from hand or deck to the graveyard, it is a monster, meaning this can be summoned to the opponent's turn. I do not like that play though, because of that lock into the next turn of reptiles. reptiles. It means so you summon on your opponent's turn, and then next turn when you want to make your plays, you're stuck with reptiles, and we just don't have that many good ones. This deck, in my opinion, is much better mixing engines, splashing value, and getting the most to counter manipulating good levels, good summoning, and tribute synergies. Something to note, if you summon it using any other method, it actually doesn't lock you into reptiles, so its resurrection can be used more effectively. I just find that this being a level 10 means that having this around plus another free body isn't as useful as it may initially seem. If this were an 8, I would be much more inclined to run it, but as it is, I'm actually not that happy with this card. I don't really like this card. I'll definitely keep testing with it, but it doesn't seem like one that's going to stick around in my list, to be honest. It is too restrictive in locking you into reptiles because its summoning conditions are great. It comes down really easily, but the fact that it locks you is really brutal, and I can only really see it as an end of your turn summon. Maybe if we got a cool rank 10 or link 2 style reptile monster, I could see this getting played and being valuable near the end of your turn, but as it is, it's a bit too restrictive. It's actually far too restrictive for my liking. I know that was a bit more of a ramble, but those are my thoughts on the 2 new cards. I have yet to come up with a list I'm really happy with, but once I do, I'll definitely get uploading on that. I wanted to get a video out this month because that's always the goal, is to get one out a month. I'm nearing the end of my masters, so hopefully I will have more time to work at these videos. I've also just been taking kind of a break from Yu-Gi-Oh, so I appreciate the patience. I appreciate everybody sticking around, and I'm really excited by these cards and excited by testing these, so I can't wait to mess with these more. Let me know what you think. I learned a lot from the comments on my first short on these 2 cards, and I've used some of that here, so I'm looking forward to hearing more from people and testing more with these cards. But that's all for me. I'll see you next month.